Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. For those of you that are already jumping on live, we so appreciate you being here and hanging out with us. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from learning from other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Lynnette Phillips. Lynette believes in integrating values and beliefs as the cornerstone of your conscious awareness. She is the co-founder of the Fulfilled Mom Movement and curator space for coaching and programming for moms who want to live on purpose, centered around what matters most to them. She is a mother with a story that includes caring for her mother during her cancer treatments, processing death, therapy, and entrepreneurship. Her journey over the years has been filled with challenges, and she is here to talk about how she has learned to manage her life as a leader with an I can attitude. You know, a lot of the individuals that that love the Her Version community are individuals that are very aware of the fact that there are areas in their life right now where they are having some darkness or some struggles. And we're all going through that. You know, I want to notate that, you know, just because we're up here and we're, you know, highlighting ourselves as coaches doesn't mean that we're not still working on ourselves and we're not still in a constant basis of, you know, being a student while also being a teacher. But I would love for you to kind of just cue in on the females right now who are, you know, going through some sort of struggle or some sort of darkness where they're just not feeling life at all. And they're really struggling with who they are authentically. What would you say to them who are listening right now?
I think it is, you know, it's not discovered in a moment. It's discovered through a journey.
Yeah.
And so much like actual seasons, a winter, a spring, a summer, and a fall, we have to prepare. We need different responses for them, right? You don't wear a parka in the summer. And so recognizing the seasons you're in and learning how to take care of you in those moments, and then really looking at what is this integrating, right? I mentioned at the beginning that, you know, I had to learn to live in relationship or with my grief, right? Like death taught me how to live. So for me, that's part of my fabric now. From now on is a up close journey with grief and loss. And so what I take that with me is when my kids reach a certain age, I will grieve where our relationship is. If we move to a different state, I will grieve being in a physical location and being away from my friends. But what does now grief mean to me? Grief means I'm going to go through a process. It means the sadness is going to be there. It means sometimes the anger is going to be there, but it also means what did I do in those moments? And I had to learn how to, like the therapist said, go for a walk and listen to the birds and be a little bit more present and, you know, take that first step to process what was going on around me. And then, you know, the additional pieces. Literally, had my mom been here, been healthy, I don't know that I would ever have taken the leap to go into a second iteration of my career. It probably would have been business as usual.
Wow.
To be honest, because it would have created such a space of comfort.
Yeah.
But to have life interrupted means what comes up for me and what I visualize is almost like the cocoon, right? And so because we don't see the caterpillar in the cocoon, it's actually goo. It's not like there. It literally turns into this like puddle of goo to begin the process to metamorphosize into a butterfly, right? That doesn't make it seem as beautiful as it is, right? When we think about the cocoon and out emerges this butterfly. And so that's kind of how I have to approach the challenges, and also knowing there's iterations of the woman that I am becoming. So that authentic journey is not quite done yet. I don't know who she will be at 50. I know what my values are that anchor me. And if I live a life aligned with those values, it will just continue to get, played out. How will I show compassion in the world that we live in 10 years from now? Will I do that through my work? Will I do it through writing? Will I do that through speaking? Will I do that through how I mother? That's where I get, I guess, some of that influence back. So that's what I would say to a lot of those women about those authentic self is let's think about ways to align with your purpose. And that's a really broad question, right? What am I here to do? Start with, what do I love to do? What lights me up, even thinking about it in the midst of my gooey moment, right? Because I might be being cocooned right now.
Yeah, that's great. I love the analogy of the cocoon with the butterfly. Even with my own story, I get wrapped up sometimes in all of the feels of all of the stuff that I've been through. And, I have to recognize that, pushing through that cocoon and all of the strength that I had to acquire to break free from that was not fun. But you have to go through all of that in order to ascend into who you actually are. So, when we are in our funk and our darkness and our struggle, or however you're visualizing that for yourself, you have to really, what is that? You have to embrace the thought of, what it would feel like to actually be like a fragile butterfly with these fragile wings, and how slowly and methodically they would have to push on that cocoon to break free. That would be stressful. That would be so stressful. So I so appreciate that. And I did not know about the goo. So thank you.
Yeah. It's gets in there, goos it up, create something beautiful, right?
That's great. This user said, that was a great live, Sabrina. See you next time. Lynette, yes, find your joy. Thanks for sharing your story. Big love to both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this space. Thank you for those who have been with us. This conversation went so quickly. It was amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Is there any closing thoughts you would like to state before we close up?
I think continue to know that you can individualize this journey while showing up in a lot of self-development spaces. There's a lot of things that you could probably just cherry pick or that resonate, and learn how to build your arsenal of tools. And it's not just one prescriptive way. And I think that that's probably about living that life, authentically, and also take the time to, craft one thing, right? I'll use the reference of my marriage, right? When I was like, hey, it's taken some work and it's been over the time and it's transitioned over the years, but I think that it's just something I really highly value and I find joy in it. And so I've had seasons where that was the highest priority in what I work on, and now it's a lot of work and career for both of us as we think about what's next, even for my husband. So just know there will be all the things to work on. I think we want to do it all now, or as of all yesterday, but save space and save room for continued growth and to fail and fail up.
Yeah, definitely. I so appreciate that. For those that are listening live, we so appreciate you being here. Lynette, how can people find you?
If they want the same way you and I found each other. So my primary, I would say, is connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message. I'll follow your content and, those spaces. I do have a website, LynettePhillips.com. But LinkedIn is probably the place to find me and create some dialogue, especially if you're just curious and want to chat more.
Yes, yes, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here. For those of you that are watching live, again, we thank you so much for being here and supporting us on a continuous basis. For those of you that are watching on the replay, again, make sure you hashtag replay so we can show you some love and we can see where you are watching us at. Thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and it's filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share, make sure you reach out to me. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform with Lynnette Phillips. This allows us to be able to share stories of truth and share stories to inspire others. Till next time.